Arrogant billionaire mafia boss slapped a pregnant nurse, then froze when her brother walked in. The hospital hallway fell silent the moment the slap echoed. It wasn't just any slap. It came from a man people feared more than death itself. Dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit, his cold eyes scanned the room like he owned every soul in it. He was known in whispers across the city, the billionaire mafia boss who never tolerated mistakes, never showed mercy, and never, ever apologized. And yet, standing before him was a trembling nurse, one hand protectively resting on her pregnant belly. She hadn't expected this shift to change her life. "I told you to move," he snapped, his voice sharp enough to cut through steel. Before anyone could react, smack. Gasps rippled through the corridor. Doctors froze. Patients' families stared in disbelief. No one dared to step in. No one dared to challenge him. The nurse staggered, nearly losing her balance, but instinctively she shielded her unborn child. Her eyes filled with tears, not just from pain, but from humiliation. "You think being pregnant makes you untouchable?" he said coldly, adjusting his cuff as if nothing had happened. But then, a voice came from behind.
"Low. Calm.
Dangerous. Take your hand off her before you lose it." The temperature in the hallway dropped instantly. The mafia boss turned slowly, irritation flashing across his face, until he saw him. And for the first time in years, he froze. The man standing at the end of the hallway didn't look loud or flashy. He didn't need to be. Dressed in a simple dark coat, his presence alone pressed down on the room like a storm about to break. His eyes were locked on the nurse, on his sister, then slowly shifted to the man who had touched her, the billionaire mafia boss. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the nurse whispered, her voice shaking, "The brother?" A ripple of shock moved through the onlookers.
"Brother?"
The mafia boss's jaw tightened. He studied the newcomer more carefully now. The calm stance, the controlled breathing, the unmistakable aura of someone who wasn't afraid, not even of him. That was rare. Dangerous. "You walked into the wrong place," the mafia boss said, his tone low, trying to reclaim control. "This doesn't concern you." The man stepped forward. One step, then another. Each footstep echoed like a countdown. "It concerns me," he said quietly, "when someone lays a hand on my family." The guards behind the mafia boss shifted, sensing the change in the air. Hands hovered near concealed weapons, but none of them moved, because something felt off. The boss narrowed his eyes. "Do you know who you're talking to?" The man stopped just a few feet away now, close enough for everyone to feel the tension crackling between them. "Yes," he replied calmly. "That's why I'm still speaking instead of acting." A dangerous silence followed. The nurse clutched her belly, tears streaming down her face, not just from fear anymore, but from the overwhelming relief that someone had come for her. The mafia boss let out a short, humorless laugh. "You've got courage. I'll give you that." Then his expression hardened. "But courage gets people killed." Before anyone could react, one of his guards stepped forward. And in the blink of an eye, the brother moved. It was so fast most people didn't even see it. 1 second, he was standing still. The next, the guard was on the ground, disarmed, pinned, and gasping for breath. A collective gasp filled the hallway. The mafia boss's eyes widened just slightly. Not fear, but recognition. Skill like that didn't come from nowhere. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice no longer mocking. The man straightened slowly, his gaze never leaving the boss. "You really don't recognize me?" he said. A pause. Then, "I was wondering how long it would take before we met again." Something flickered in the mafia boss's memory.
A name.
A past he thought was buried. And then it hit him. His face changed. Not just surprise this time, but something deeper. Something dangerous. "You," he muttered. The brother's eyes darkened. "Yes," he said. "Me." And this time, his voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "You picked the wrong person to hurt." The hallway felt too small for what was about to happen. No one moved. No one even dared to breathe too loudly. The mafia boss stared at him now, really stared. And then it clicked. Not just a memory, but a mistake. A past decision he thought had no consequences. His voice dropped. "You're supposed to be dead." A faint, humorless smile touched the brother's lips. "That's what you were told," he replied. "That's what you paid to hear." A chill swept through the room. The nurse looked between them, confused, her heart racing. "Brother, what is he talking about?" But he didn't look at her. His eyes never left the man in front of him. "Years ago," he said quietly, "you ordered a cleanup. A small family in your way. You didn't even bother to learn their names." The mafia boss's expression darkened. He remembered. A village. A fire. Silence after screams. "I was the one who survived." The words landed like a hammer. Gasps filled the corridor. Even the guards shifted uneasily now. The nurse's face drained of color. "What?" He finally turned to her, his voice soft for the first time. "You were too young to remember. I made sure you never would." Her knees nearly gave out as the truth hit her. All those years, the past she never understood. "Why didn't you tell me?" she whispered. "Because I wanted you to live," he said gently. "Not carry this." Then his expression hardened again as he faced the mafia boss. But today, he brought it back. The boss exhaled slowly, regaining some of his composure. "If you survived," he said coldly, "you should have stayed hidden." "And let you keep doing this?" The brother shot back, gesturing to the shaken nurse. "Hurting people who can't fight back?" A tense silence followed. Then, something unexpected happened. The mafia boss raised his hand. His guards froze. "Enough," he said. Everyone blinked in shock. Even the brother narrowed his eyes. "You think this ends with a fight?" The boss continued, his voice calmer now, but heavier. "If we start something here, your sister," he glanced at her briefly, "won't walk out of it safely." It wasn't a threat shouted in anger. It was worse. A calculated truth. The brother's jaw tightened. He knew it. This wasn't a street fight. This was a man with power, reach, and no limits. For the first time, hesitation flickered in his eyes. The mafia boss noticed and stepped closer. "Walk away," he said quietly.
Take her.
"Leave this place, and I'll pretend I never saw you." The nurse grabbed her brother's arm, her voice trembling. "Please, let's just go." For a moment, it seemed like he might, but then, he gently removed her hand. "No," he said. The single word echoed louder than any shout. The mafia boss's gaze sharpened. "You're choosing war?" he asked. The brother stepped forward, his voice steady and unshakable. "You started it years ago." A pause. Then, "This is Air Nero Romance. What happens next will shock you. Don't forget to subscribe." Thank you for watching. Write in the comments where you're watching from. Follow for part 2.